Hey, this is Shawn Greeves, and I'm here with Tom. And Tom's been doing houses. How long have you been doing houses now?
I am in my 11th month.
11th month. How many houses have you done?
I am working on 10 and 11 right now.
10 and 11. That's awesome. And you shoot for about 10,000 on average?
The minimum goal is $10,000 per house. My first one I started with 7,000. I typically average about 11 to 12 now.
Okay.
Per house.
What kind of experience did you have in the real estate business before you met me? Zero. Well, what were you doing before you were doing houses?
I was actually a repair mechanic and working in the automotive field, and I was the diagnostic guy, and then I managed the show for about another 10 years after that. Got burned out, wanted to go out on my own, and I'd always wanted to apply what I did with the car business, flipping cars, and now I'm flipping houses, and it's great.
All right, and that's awesome. But you wanted to be, or you thought being a realtor was the way to go.
I did. My idea was, I thought that if I got my license, I could learn the ropes and learn how title work works and the contracts and negotiations. It was dead when it started. I just couldn't gain traction with it. I made 2 sales in about 6 months, and before the money ran out, I had to do something else. And since I always wanted to do this anyway, I was able to contact you, and it was a great concept.
All right, what kind of fears did you have when you first started into this business? Because you originally contacted me to do a big rehab, I think.
That's right, yeah.
And I talked you out of that.
Yeah.
And so when you started doing this model, or real estate in general, what were your fears?
Personally, well, certainly failure. There's always that. But for me, it was the steps involved in the process. But once you get through that first house, it becomes easier. It's just like anything else, and you get to the second house, and you get to the third house, and pretty soon it becomes an engine.
Were you afraid of not being able to find any deals? I mean, probably at the beginning.
Yeah, I still had my realtor's license at the time, so I relied on the MLS quite a bit, and I'll tell you right now that most of the good deals, at least 60–70% of the good deals, are actually off market. But for me, the biggest fear was finding the end buyer. But you know, you get out of it what you put into it. And I hustled like crazy on those first 2 houses, and was able to make a lot of good connections, connected with a lot of good people, and I don't have a house that sits for more than 2 weeks now.
So getting a buyer's no problem?
No, not now. Now, certainly at the beginning, expect it. I mean, you know, the greater the reward, the greater the work that you're going to have to put into it. But for me, I mean, it's pretty smooth sailing now. I've got a nice, decent pool of buyers, and you just market to them all, send your pictures off, create a flyer if you want to, and someone bites every time.
Getting houses, getting buyers, no problem.
It's a non-issue.
All right. Could you recommend this program to anybody else?
I would recommend this program. Shawn has some incredibly good ideas, and you know, with time, you can certainly twist it and make it your own, but his model works. And so if you stick to the program and you stick to the ideas that Shawn gives you, write them all down, because most of the good information is verbal. So you write those ideas down and you stick to them. And if you do that, you're gonna be fine. And as time goes on and you learn the ropes and you know what you're doing, sure, twist it around, make it yours. You know, for example, something silly, Shawn, is every single house has a blue door. Just so I know that which ones are mine, you know? So just silly things like that, but just twist it up and make it yours.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for talking to me.
You bet, Shawn.